how does this apply offline, or does it apply offline? Any takers from our panel on responding on that one?
I think hope everyone is unmuted. Maybe that could be one of the glitches, but I can add a quick perspective on that, right? Obviously, I think a
Great,
lot
thank
of
you.
banking still happens in the offline mode, right? But I think around the world we have seen that to drive social and financial inclusion, a lot of these banking and financial organizations are moving to digital platforms, right? That is where the invent of mobile banking is there. But then I think with respect to open banking, I think I would want somebody like Bhupinder to comment on that, right? With respect to his knowledge, his expertise, has he seen how open banking is applied in not in an offline mode?
Uh, Thank you. I think, to be honest, I haven't come across this use case yet. Okay, so the least which we are trying to say is, can you do financial inclusion? Okay, which means accessibility to banking service, maybe not a bank. So that's where I think we need to understand it's all about, can you provide the services which can be developed on the third parties, not exactly banks. So I think we are still bit in distant to say that offline banking mode will be there anytime soon. What I have seen or experience, if I have to say about UK, Europe, Canada, bit of Latin America, that's where I have been involved with. We haven't come across this yet. So again, just redefining, as I said, like everybody has their own take on open banking. My take on open banking is about data sharing, it's about lending and payments. Okay, so these are the three pillars which I believe are, um, whatever you want to call it, are the key driving factors for open banking. I will just add one more point. Some of the product and services which consumer is already using, like aggregators, they already exist. So open banking
Mhm.
has not invented them. Okay, aggregator existed on, let's just say, a bit of primitive technology, old, less secure technology. I'm sure people will be aware of the term screen scraping. So that's what have been powering some of the fintechs which we talked about in current context. So I think when you address the pillars of information sharing, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, those pillars doesn't sustain the screen scraping doesn't pass the test of those. So hence open banking, one of the pillar is how to make things secure which are already there in the market. So think it like it's an improvement and much needed improvement for the fintechs, and it has its own benefits. So as I said, like in my experience, I haven't come across this particular use case, or even if any jurisdiction is trying to address this, to be honest.
So,
Okay.
So basically,
uh,
open banking. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, please, Dr. Sindhu.
Open banking, when we talk of open banking, it means a transactional action. So when transactions are happening, that is what is being taken care of by open banking. When there is no transaction, when it is in rest mode or sleep mode, then okay, the normal bank, like your account is there, you can check your balance and all that. Here it is ecosystem, interacting ecosystem. So until unless there is a function, there will be no interaction, there will be no backward forward movement of data. So offline, there is no need of any offline system here, because it is only related to the transactional part of the action.
So, if I can just put some spotlight over here, specifically when it's a very interesting question about the open banking and the offline, and it's really imminent for financial inclusion, as Shiv started earlier. And there are use cases at the moment which are in development in Africa, specifically on the low latency networks. So when you say the offline mode, yes, it is related to the transaction. Open banking is very much for the transaction, but the transactions are can be offline and online, and these offline transactions are generally using a different network rather than the internet, right? So yes, To answer question in a straightforward way, yes, there are use cases. They are in development. Whether they are mature enough at the moment, no, they are not. In terms of the financial inclusion, the fundamental requirement is the transaction account. And regardless of the service provider, whether it's a bank or any other institution or intermediary, can provide that. So that's why there's quite a lot of movement from the government and the regulators to get into the space where they can start at least introducing the services which can be utilized by people for their account services. Not only the bank account services, even for the government payments, which is G2P is very common use case for the financial inclusion globally. So yes, there's quite a lot of movement in the open banking space for the G2P and the other initiatives from the existing framework.
So can we look at it from this perspective in the sense like because whenever we talk about offline banking, it's like that you walk into a branch and then you do your banking, right? So with the new concept of bank open banking, is it possible that I walk into a NatWest branch and I say, okay, I want to do something with Barclays? Is it possible in the sense because that is the true open banking, right? That I am able to basically use one bank's interface to transact with other bank, right? So is that what this could be envisioned as or not?
Maybe
Uh,
that can be possible because when supposing you have to deposit a check of say Amex in JP Morgan, you just scan the check and deposit it. So you have not walked to the branch. So maybe if you are close to a JP Morgan branch, then you can go and do the okay. This is the check, and I have to interact with the Amex screen, and I need to complete my transaction. So it may be possible,
Thank you, Shiv.
but of course not now.
I
Okay,
said I would
great.
say
Sorry, go on.
I would say thank you for putting a spotlight on this shift because that is the true use case we are looking for the decentralized identity as well as the combination of the decentralized identity and the open banking. If we have that, yes, it's a very straightforward use case of invisible banking. We can say invisible interbanking, right? And that is pretty much possible if we have a proper infrastructure and the decentralized identity in place.